In this video, we're going to be talking about the Z movie Broly character, which is possibly better in some ways than the Super Broly, which is super controversial, apparently, but I'm going to speak my mind out anyway, because there's just some things he does correctly, or that movie, or the character does correctly, that just hits the highs that no other movie has been able to hit since. It's able to create this hype for a character, and it's lived in the fandom for almost 2 decades, to the point of which it got its own reboot. Okay, so I do want to talk about the Z Broly character and how he could definitely be improved, and how he was improved in the Super movie, and how combining both aspects of this character could have made the best possible version in that movie of Broly that you could have possibly made. So first, let's go and talk about who Broly is as a character. To summarize the plot really quickly, Vegeta falls for a trap, Goku rescues him, and everybody lives happily ever after. But basically, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it already, because I'll be talking about it in more detail. But yeah, basically, the story starts off by having a galaxy destroyed, and everybody's slowing their shit down because just a bigger force than Frieza has just come around and created havoc. Frieza ruled the galaxy. This motherfucker destroyed a galaxy. Like, come on, Cell was hinted at potentially doing this. Now, Broly just went and did it. No repercussions, just because he got triggered. Okay? So, the movie starts off literally with that as the prelude, and then it continues on with the Saiyans being escorted off the planet for valid reasons, Vegeta's ego. And then another ship doesn't come for, like, I don't know, literally the third half of the movie, just to make sure they don't leave accidentally. So this is interesting because for the first time in a while, they have lost all communications and contact with planet Earth. And there is no Dragon Ball bullshit. Okay? So with the plot holes just simply being cut out of the way and all the characters being put into like one battlefield, Vegeta, Goku, Trunks, Gohan, all of these, even Piccolo, built up as these monsters, these powerhouses that can easily body the androids. 17 and 18, forget Cell. And then Broly just shows up, he transforms, and then just slaps the shit out of all of them. I don't know, he's just like the better version of the Super Saiyan than the rest of them. Like, he literally flexes so hard. I think I mentioned earlier, he's like the Katakuri to Luffy. Like, whatever you can do, I can do better. Well, not like the Kamehameha, but like Energy Blast, easy. And just like and he literally pulls like the Stranger from God of War, like, my turn, and just bitch slaps the living shit out of him. And just like every other Saiyan, he was simply the best at his time for all the right reasons and proved his worth. He simply transformed, became a Super Saiyan, and just beat the shit out of everybody. Like, what's there not to love about a good casual character writing? I mean, there's tons of build-up, everything is tense, but the motivation of this character is what nearly killed this movie. I love a lot about this guy, and the fact that I love a lot about this guy, and the fact that a major portion of this fan base does and wanted to keep this character alive by redrawings, recreations, having skits and all that. But one thing that most people can't avoid is the plot. Like, why? Like, we gotta answer the big elephant in the room. Why are so many people annoyed by this movie, or by Broly, simply? It's because of the crying child backstory. I will not lie to you. This backstory was ass. Literally. Okay, the screenwriters could not have thought up of any tangible reason why Broly should be connected or fight Kakarot. I mean, despite the only motivation needing to be the desire to fight and to prove he's the strongest, which isn't good enough apparently. I mean, they wanted to go with the plot point of flashbacks. All power to you. But all that build up and hype and the story elements that went to Broly's dad instead of Broly. Despite the motivations that need to go to Broly, all of that shit went to just focusing on plot holes that could have been with Broly's dad. He was literally secondary. And the Broly Super movie fixes this just by deleting him. Like, he was used as the trigger or as the catalyst to motivate Broly to do better. But this movie does something interesting where Broly literally becomes the monster, kills his own father, and makes sure he dies by throwing him straight into the comic. That is as bad as you can get, and that's how you clarify that he is the monster here. I mean, I'd like to imagine this is like a version of Vegeta in like a simple sense, but he has the ultimate power and is just simply flexing on everybody. There was just so much lacking with this character. People wanted more, and I will admit, seeing such a good character going to waste, especially with like such a poor backstory, is nearly what killed the movie. And it's like, his fight style, his design, his everything is what made him so iconic in the first place, and it's all just going down to waste. And it's probably the origin of most people's hate for him. He had so much potential, but all of that got killed off for plot armor reason. I mean, there was no build-up, there was no implications that teamwork was even working. Goku pulls like a one-time move, never to be used again, and it's like, give me your power, I will somehow One Punch Man this guy. It's not even using a unique concept like they did in Android 13's movie, where it's like Goku pulled up a spirit bomb, absorbed it, and then fought. Like, come on, they could have done better. Okay, but let's talk about all the reasons why Z Broly was just perfect. Okay, let's talk about fight photography. I mean, look at the way this guy fights. This guy's flexing on both speed and power and strength. Like, nobody can even get a good shot at Broly, and it doesn't even do too much at them. Broly's just casually walking around when Goku's like literally trying his best to like hit him or hurt him. And let's not even talk about the fact that this man Broly just one-shot Super Vegeta, one of the most strongest Z warriors in the universe, as far as we know. And I mean, come on, the fighting style matches the build. Everything this guy does, the way he fights, matches the build. And I think that's one of the most underrated things in a series like this, where everything is about the power measuring, scale, dick measuring contests. Instead, it's more about the fighting style, which is what made him so lovely to begin with. Okay, let's talk about the design, okay? We're not gonna count Kale. But bro out here built like gym on steroids. Tits out, muscle popping, no coverings whatsoever. I mean, this all contributes to how he fights and all that. And he's like a berserker. He's literally a madman. Literally about to pick you up and throw you down. I mean, just look at those design arcs. Perfect in every way. It's meant to give the impression that he's meant to be a bulk of a man. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about was the powering and the styling. The method of the powering up for him is completely different and super explosive. Like, you see all the transformations with the Super Saiyan, where it's just like they scream a little and then just pop comes out the Super Saiyan. But no, Broly just erupts from him, especially with that scream and all that. It changes the scenery, like the coloring, and then you get like it's not even drawn out or anything like that. It's literally, you get the first shot at the Super Saiyan, legendary Super Saiyan. The build-up was subtle, and it left enough implication for him to exist as this powerhouse or of a threat. First impressions, spot on. This is how you do it, especially with the build-up. The visual effects exclusively used to Super Saiyan Legendary, which is what makes this so unique and so fun. Like the blast and the powering up, amazing. Can we also talk about how he fights? Like, bro is so big, he's grabbing people by the head, beats the shit out of them so hard that he casually destroys a planet like it's nobody's business. Like, last but not least, let's talk about how he served his purpose in this given story. I mean, the story could have easily been fixed if you just cut the parts of the movie where Broly and Kakarot as a child were just crying and whatnot, and you could have replaced it with anything else, and I think the story wouldn't be affected. I think it would have improved the movie. The trigger for this movie is completely valid and necessary. Like, a whole galaxy is gone, somebody pulled a Frieza, and we kind of need to stop him because he might hit our galaxy nest. And honestly, DBZA did it better. Funny how it took one line to fix that. It's just that it annoys me so much that the character went all down to shits because the screenwriters were desperate to make a connection between Goku and Broly, so they had to pull something out of their ass. Just simply make the fact that Broly's father hyped Broly to defeat Frieza as the legendary Super Saiyan, only to be beaten by one punch by Goku. That's not Goku's style or stick of selling things. Okay, I mean, this is not the best character motivation for a character like Broly, and it may take some time to emphasis on this and build up, especially since Super Saiyan Legendary is treated like a surprise. I mean, like, there's so much more they could have done, and I wish they would have. But honestly, they did a lot of the fixing up in the new movie. So let's talk about Broly Super. Okay, most of the story elements were fixed in a super productive way, which is really great. I mean, they gave him a backstory. They let him shine for a little bit, so it's not like a complete one-up surprise. Good design. It's completely different from the last one, which points to them for doing that. And great power-ups. I mean, it's a little nice that he has a little berserk form, little nice in between forms to allude like he's becoming or he's very close at achieving Super Saiyan. And I love the fact that they still play tribute to how the Super Saiyan is triggered by a great amount of stress or psychological pressure. especially for the legendary form when he realizes that his father died, his only emotional connection died, and so he loses all sanity and goes berserk, which is a really good touch. I was honestly hoping a color or something else would come out pink. I really love the dial-up for the insanity meter of the Berserk Broly, showing how much his power is more out of line, and then he snaps back into reality when he shows. It's just nice to see that almost every criticism given to the OG Broly was fixed in the Super. However, it fails at achieving some of the high points and strengths of the OG, and how having a unique visual for transformations, an intimidating presence, and a follow through on that. So people might argue on me with the visual effects and all that, but the first time seeing the legendary Super Saiyan got people's pants wet. I imagine if you had at least given Broly a new hair color, I guarantee you would have had Super Saiyan Legendary, and then something to match the gods, or like his take on the God Ki or something like that. The ungodly amount of press that would have come out of it would have been beautiful. But in a weird way, you had to rewrite the Broly story in order to fix all of its weaknesses and build on its strengths that the OG suffered. I mean, it's unique from its predecessor, which isn't something a whole lot of other movies can be said about it. Last but not least, I'm going to mention that the beating that Frieza got was well deserved. He hit him once for every Saiyan that personally got killed off. But those are my takes on the Z Broly. I really liked him. If they had really, done like a reversion or like a relight up of Z Broly and fixed all of these elements, I would love to see it, honestly. But yeah, that's enough about me ranting about Z Broly. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Talk to you all in the next video. Bye.